So today, as I mentioned, I'm going to be talking about NAMI California, the organization, sharing a little bit more about the importance of prevention and early intervention, talking about our various PEI programs and peer programs, and then I'll be turning it over to Dana, who's going to be talking about the expansion into institutions of higher education, and Amanda sharing her lived experience. And there will be opportunities for question and answer at the end as well. So the National Alliance on Mental Illness, or NAMI for short, is the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization. We have affiliates in every single state, including some territories, with 67 affiliates in the state of California alone. We provide support, education, and advocacy for all those affected by mental illness. And the majority of our affiliates are completely volunteer-run. Our organization is made up of family members, individuals, and we call this the lived experience, which is definitely the key to the success of both our organization and our programs. So I'm very excited to say that many of the campuses listed here are actually present on the webinar today, and each of these campuses have indicated in their plans that they're going to collaborate with NAMI and the local affiliates to offer one or more of the programs in which I'll be explaining today. For those of you who haven't heard about CalMesa and the Proposition, in Proposition 63, in 2004, voters passed Proposition 63, which is also called the Mental Health Services Act, which imposes an additional 1% tax on individuals with incomes greater than $1 million. And this act stipulates that a portion of these funds go towards prevention and early intervention. And many, but not all of the counties decided to pool their PEI funds together in order to administer 3 statewide PEI programs. And the 3 programs are suicide prevention, stigma and discrimination reduction, and student mental health. Counties also formed the California Mental Health Services Authority, which is a joint powers authority that oversees the money being spent on statewide PEI initiatives. And NAMI California received a grant from CalMesa under the Stigma and Discrimination Reduction Project to implement our PEI or SDR program statewide, but also we're really working to help our organization and our local affiliates to become more culturally responsive. As most of you are aware, mental illness is not rare. In fact, 1 in 4 U.S. adults has a diagnosable, treatable mental health condition, and of that 1 in 4, about 22% of the cases are classified as severe. And what that means is bipolar disorder, depression, schizophrenia, amongst a few others. And nearly 20% of all students are estimated to have a mental illness. So whether you realize it or not, each and every one of us are affected by mental illness. So that brings us to our first poll. If you'll go back to the feedback section and answer the question, what do you think the average delay between the onset of symptoms and an individual receiving treatment is? 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years? I'm going to give a minute or so for people to answer this. We still have 8 people who have an answer. Okay, I'm not sure if you can all see the results here, but we've got a majority of people choosing question B, 5 years. So 8 people and 4 people have chosen answer C, 10 years. Actually, although 50% exhibited symptoms by the age of 14, the average delay between onset of symptoms and people receiving treatment is 10 years, which, as you can imagine, is an extremely long time. We're hoping that through these PEI programs we can really get that number down. So prevention is effective at helping people avoid serious mental illness. And by treating mental illness early, the result is definitely better outcomes. And although 50% exhibit symptoms by the age of 14, most don't receive help during this critical period, as I mentioned before. And stigma has actually been shown to be the largest contributing factor to this delay. But the good news is the majority of individuals who do receive treatment early have a very good chance of complete recovery. And recovery means something different for each person. That brings us to our second poll. What has been shown to be the most effective way to reduce stigma? Education about accurate symptoms of mental health conditions, positive portrayal of mental illness in the media, or personal contact with an individual with a mental health condition. Well, thank you all very much for participating. The overwhelming response has been answer C. Although education and positive portrayal of of mental illness in the media are very powerful, it has been shown that the most powerful way of reducing stigma is through the personal contact with people that have mental health conditions. So that brings us to our first PEI program, Ending the Silence. This is a mental health education and stigma reduction program for students, and it's a two-part presentation, 50 minutes long, so it's designed to fit in a single class period. The first half of the presentation is a PowerPoint where the students learn about the different symptoms of mental health conditions. They're also given some updated, accurate statistics, and it's very recovery focused. Students learn what they can do if they or someone they know is experiencing symptoms, and also we give them some information about some positive coping skills. And the second part of the presentation, which is probably the most impactful portion, is when a young person gets up and shares with the students about their own personal journey with mental illness. Similar to the presentation you're going to hear from Amanda today, they talk about what it was like when they first started exhibiting symptoms. They also mention kind of their experiences as a student with mental illness, how their friends reacted, how their family reacted, what helped, what didn't help so much, and then they share how they're doing today. Because all of our speakers are doing well in recovery, they share their successes and their dreams for the future. Ending the Silence reduces stigma in two ways. It provides education to dispel myths, but also through personal contact, which, as I mentioned before, is the most powerful method of reducing stigma. In Our Own Voice is essentially our Speakers Bureau program. This program has been around for many years. It's a national program. I believe every single state in the country has Our Own Voice. It is a 60 to 90-minute presentation given by two individuals that are in recovery with a mental illness, in which they share their entire journey of mental illness. They talk about when they first started exhibiting symptoms, what the dark days were like. They also share what it was like to come to acceptance of their mental illness. They talk about the various treatments they've tried. They talk about their positive coping skills. And they finish off with talking more about their recovery and their successes and hopes and dreams for the future. So that brings us to our next poll. The question is, I have seen a live In Our Own Voice presentation. So if you have, indicate true, and if you haven't, false. Well, it's really exciting to see that several of you actually have seen an In Our Own Voice presentation, but if you haven't, it's very powerful, and hopefully we'll be able to bring a presentation to your school sometime soon. The next program I want to talk about is, right now we're calling it College Teachers as Allies, but the title could change. It's a brand new program which is currently under development, and it's based on our Parents and Teachers as Allies program. Our Parents and Teachers as Allies program is currently being adapted for college faculty and staff. It's a 1-hour in-service presentation. Through this program, the faculty learn about the different warning signs of mental illness and how to intervene if they notice students are in distress. We also are going to be giving faculty ideas about different accommodations that they could provide. And the purpose of this program is really to give college faculty and staff the tools that they need to help individuals living with mental health conditions to be successful students. And we know that this is important because the attrition rate among college students living with mental illness is very high. We're hoping that we can decrease that. Also, the presentation is going to include lived experience, both from a young person who experienced symptoms while they were going to college, but also the lived experience of someone that's close to that individual. And it's probably not, an individual and their person that's close, but just a person that is a significant other, a roommate, or a friend of someone that had a mental health condition in college, and sharing what it was like for them. We're hoping to be able to offer this program in the beginning of this coming fall semester or fall quarter. We're going to be offering the College Teachers as Allies program to campuses as a flex unit training seminar. And this seminar falls under the category of training programs and also staff development activities. Some of the next steps for College Teachers as Allies is we're going to be disseminating information on scheduling the flex unit seminars, hopefully sometime in the next month. Also, we are currently recruiting students and young adults who are living in recovery to share their personal lived experience. We're also recruiting friends and roommates and significant others to share their experiences as well. We are also currently collecting responses for a survey. Along with the presentation, we have a guidebook where we're going to include a lot of the information from the presentation, and we just want to get your feedback on the types of materials that you want included, things that would be helpful. So I've included the link right here, but Carrie is also, after the webinar, going to send around the link to you. And if you wouldn't mind, it's a very brief 10-question survey. If you wouldn't mind just giving us some feedback on that, it would be extremely helpful. So thank you in advance for taking the time to do that. Our NAMI On Campus program, in which Dana is going to go into much greater detail about this in just a few minutes, it is student-led clubs made up of individuals with mental health conditions, but also family members and students that are just passionate about mental health issues. The purpose of this program and these clubs is to raise mental health awareness on campus and provide education and support opportunities to the students on campus. And this is done through NAMI programs, but also through advocacy. And that brings us to our next poll. Which of the following PEI programs do you believe would be the most beneficial to your campus? A is Ending the Silence, B is In Our Own Voice, C is College Teachers as Allies, and D is NAMI On Campus. Well, that is really great to hear that a large majority of you are really excited about the College Teachers as Allies program. So we're definitely going to be getting that out to you as soon as possible. Thank you. NAMI also has programs specifically for individuals with mental health conditions, and these are led by peers, which are people that have mental health conditions, and they're all very recovery focused. Our peer-to-peer program is a 10-week course. This is peer-led, in which individuals receive education about the various mental illnesses. Also, they learn about the various treatments that they could use. The course emphasizes recovery, and the participants get the chance to develop their own personal recovery plan, which is probably the most powerful portion of that program. And NAMI Connection is a support group that's facilitated by peers living in recovery. Participants learn and gain strength from each other through the sharing of their personal experiences and coping strategies, and also by offering mutual support and understanding. It's a place where people can feel like they're not alone, and that is very powerful. There are several advantages of schools collaborating with NAMI. One of the things that we definitely like people to understand is that all of our programs are provided at no cost to participants and also to schools. And in most cases, all that's really needed from the campus is to just give us a time and a place, and we will bring the program to you. And what NAMI really brings to the table, as I've mentioned several times throughout the webinar, is the lived experience and the ability to put a face to mental illness. So we actually have a little extra time. I'd like to open the floor for the next 8 minutes or so to any questions that you have about our NAMI programs. And if you have a question, please press *6, and I'd be happy to answer anything that you have before we get started on NAMI on Campus. If you have a question, please feel free to type it in the chat box, or you can speak your question at this time. Okay. Well, there's going to be another opportunity for questions at the end. So if you have any burning questions that you didn't get answered, you'll have another chance. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Dana, who's going to be giving you a lot more information about our NAMI on Campus program.
We have Dana on the line. Dana, your line might be muted. You can press *6.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Okay, we hear you now. Great.
Okay, I started my presentation, but I guess I'll say it again. Sorry, I must have been muted. So thank you, Holly, for having me on this webinar today. I'm really excited to talk about NAMI on Campus. So for all of you on the call, my name is Dana Crudo-Markey, and I am the program manager at the NAMI National Office in Arlington, Virginia. And one of the programs I manage is NAMI on Campus. And I actually started a NAMI on Campus club at the University of Arizona when I was a student. So I'm really excited to have this program under my wing at the National Office and to provide this information today to you all. I think you'll find it very valuable in your efforts to raise mental health awareness. So first, I actually wanted to talk about a college survey that NAMI conducted in 2011. We actually surveyed over 700 college students living with mental health conditions about their lived experience in college and what mental health services and supports they value most. And so the report really provides a great blueprint for colleges across the country on how to address mental health issues and how to meet the needs of students living with mental health conditions. And we really heard from colleges as well during this time that they are seeing an increasing prevalence of mental health issues in students, and that these students are often dealing with pretty severe mental health conditions while attending college. And so they really needed the information to help these students and to make their college more welcoming and supportive of various mental health issues, and just making sure these students get help early before their issue turns into a crisis situation. And so this survey really provides that information to colleges. And of course, NAMI is ready to partner with colleges and in helping develop effective programs, resources, and activities. We've been using this survey report to inform our own efforts on college mental health issues. And this report really drove the need for NAMI on Campus, and that's why we've relaunched this program, and that's why I'm so happy to be on the call today to talk to you more about it. So I wanted to ask a question on what you all think was the #1 barrier that students identified in the survey for why they did not access services and supports. So you can go in that feedback box and respond, but basically it's what was the #1 barrier for students in accessing services. All right, you guys know this. Stigma was the #1 barrier. Students said, you know, they often cited that they had fear or concern about accessing help. They didn't want to appear weak or unable to fulfill their academic or social responsibilities. They were afraid of what their peers might think of them or what the school staff or faculty may think of them. And I must note, this was especially true actually in degree programs that had a health component. So pre-med students, pre-nursing students, students even in seeking social work, psychology, psychiatry degrees, they were often the ones that cited the highest stigma, which that really surprised us, that it seemed like these healthcare fields, for whatever reason, they felt like they would be stigmatized if they admitted they needed help or sought help. So that was one of the most interesting conclusions that we came from the survey, and we definitely, obviously at NAMI we all knew the role stigma plays, but it definitely still remains a top barrier to college students in particular. So as I mentioned, stigma was the #1 barrier, but a busy schedule followed closely after. Obviously, students are responsible for an academic workload. They're also doing internships, keeping up with the social schedule with friends and family. And so they found it hard to find the time to access services and supports, since often on college campuses, those services and supports are limited. They're not open 24/7. They have very limited hours often. So the second and third barriers go hand in hand, really. So then to the next slide. We also asked students that completed the survey, have you ever experienced a mental health crisis while in college? This was another surprising finding, was that 73% of them responded yes, they had experienced a crisis while in college. With most of these students, the school was not aware of the crisis. They were too afraid to notify the school, so they often dealt with it alone or just dropped out of school. So another poll, what did students rank as the most important awareness activity on campus? So as I mentioned, we asked them a lot about what mental health services and supports they value most, and one was what kind of awareness activity can schools do on campus? So what do you think was the most important one? All right, so most of you responded with student organizations or peer run groups, which that was very important, but it was not the #1. Across the survey and really in a lot of questions that we asked, mental health training for faculty and staff was often identified as the most important need on campus. They really wanted their faculty and staff to know about mental health conditions, to know about accommodations, and at least to be aware of students' needs, and to really help create a welcoming environment. So that was definitely a big theme of the survey report as a whole. But I do want to note that student organizations and peer-run groups did follow as a close third. And student organizations, peer-run groups were also mentioned a lot in anecdotal stories. So although it's not #1 here, students repeatedly said that peer-run groups helped reduce stigma, helped them feel supported, and helped them connect with peers. So that was still definitely a very important mental health activity, and was identified in other questions as being very important as well. So going back to this idea of training, though, we did ask, what kind of topics or issues do you want other students to know about mental illness? And these were kind of the top 5 topics that students living with mental health conditions wanted other students to know. And really the main one was that they wanted students to know that mental health conditions can happen to everyone. 1 in 4 young adults between the ages of 18 to 24 will have a diagnosable mental health condition at some time. They want students to know it's common and that they're not alone, and that it's okay to have a mental health problem and seek help for it. They wanted students to know that mental health issues are real and really are as important as physical health conditions. They wanted mental health treated as part of overall health. They very much wanted integrated care where the services and supports were integrated to address both physical and mental health issues at the same time. They also wanted to have students to know how to support friends that are struggling or live with a mental health condition. That was a really important topic. And then also just the facts about mental health conditions and what it means to live with one. But most of all, they wanted students to know there is help and there is hope if they are struggling. And you'll see some quotes at the bottom of these slides. These quotes come from survey respondents. I think it's just great to hear from them directly in their own words what's needed. We thought this was a great idea, that there should be a mental health awareness course that students can take to learn about these important issues that really impact a lot of college students. We also asked survey respondents what they want college faculty and staff to be trained on and to know about mental illness. And again, a lot on just general awareness of mental health conditions. They obviously don't expect faculty and staff to be experts on these topics, but at least to have a working knowledge about mental health conditions, where students can get accommodations, and how to support students and communicate with students who are experiencing a mental health issues. And again, they wanted faculty and staff to know that mental health conditions are real. And that they're not just being used to get out of schoolwork or to get some leniency on assignments. So again, another quote from a survey respondent. I'll leave you some time to read it. But really just talking about, students want to be able to work with their college faculty and staff, especially when it comes to accommodations. They wanted staff that knew what accommodations were and would respect those accommodations, and they felt like, staff were trained on mental health issues and conditions, that they would be more welcoming of accommodations and more understanding of mental health issues. So that brings me now to NAMI On Campus. Like I said, the survey report really made us realize the importance of having peer-run and peer-led groups on campus that can really help provide peer support to students living with mental health conditions, but really to any student impacted by mental health issues, whether they have a family member or a friend, or they're just interested in mental health issues in general. So like Holly said, NAMI On Campus clubs are student-led clubs that tackle mental health issues on campus by raising mental health awareness, educating the campus community about mental health issues, supporting and connecting students through programs, social activities, etc., promoting services and supports that exist on and off campus so students are aware of what help exists and where to access them, and advocating for more services and supports that can help students. And these are all activities that clubs participate in across the country. We're happy to really grow this program more in response to the survey report and the valuable information we gained from it. We really learned a lot surveying these students living with mental health conditions, and that's really informed our efforts on how to relaunch this program and get it more broadly implemented across the country, because we do feel like peer support plays a big role in reducing that stigma that students identify as the biggest barrier, and just interacting with other students that have been there and gone through that. So this slide just reflects the various activities that our students participate in across the country as club leaders and club members. Just wanted to point out a few things. Is a lot of our clubs interact with our NAMI Walks program, which raises mental health awareness through community walks. Several colleges have hosted walks on their campus, or they assemble teams. This is another walks picture. Also, quite a few of them have begun to address the mental health needs of veterans. Obviously, this is a big population, and so they have implemented programs, activities for veterans specifically, and acknowledging the sacrifices they've made. Some clubs make posters to promote campus services and supports. Other clubs hold suicide vigil nights on campus. Different social activities, different networking opportunities, support groups are a big item that students participate in. But this kind of reflects a lot of the different types of activities that our clubs do, and get to kind of see some of our club leaders and what they look like. So we have currently 38 active clubs across the country, and we've really jump-started the club just this year. We started to really relaunch the program more, promote it more, provide more technical assistance and support. And so since relaunching the program and having it actually move departments within NAMI, we actually have started 94 new clubs. So that means there's 94 new clubs that have started the NAMI On Campus startup process, which I'll explain in a minute, and they hope to start clubs for the next school year. So by next year, we think we'll have well over 100 active clubs across the country. and we've had quite a few inquiries on the programs too. And I do have a list of the clubs that are active and the clubs that are in process if you want to see that. And also here's just a few NAMI On Campus clubs that exist in California that we're really happy to see active and provide support to them. So that's the ones that exist in California now, but there's a lot more coming in process. And just to get back to why NAMI On Campus matters, 1 in 4 young adults have a mental health issue. 40% of these young adults are not seeking help. They know that they have a problem. They know they are struggling in school, but they are not seeking help, and probably it's because of stigma, as that was identified as the #1 barrier in our survey. And also identified in our survey and just through the work we've done with young adults is students really value peer support. And NAMI On Campus is a great way to provide that peer support. And NAMI On Campus clubs can really make a difference, not only on campus, but also in the lives of students who decide to become club leaders. They really become passionate about the cause. It gives them something to participate in. And what's great is they get to be part of NAMI even after they graduate, since we are a lifelong organization. And of course, the clubs also make a difference in the lives of the students who are impacted by the programs and activities the clubs offer. But I think even more powerful is the anecdotal stories on why NAMI On Campus matters. We obviously hear from a lot of young adults across the country who either get involved with NAMI On Campus as a leader or as a member, and they share with us why NAMI On Campus matters to them and the impact it's made on their life. And really, you know, time and again, they really value being able to meet and connect with other students on their campus. They make lifelong friends through these clubs. They have very positive experiences, and they feel very accepted and welcomed sometimes for the first time in their life. And they're able to just be themselves and share their mental health issues, but also just share other parts of themselves and really be able to socialize and not have their life be all about their mental illness. And these students really value an opportunity to combat the stigma that exists on campus and to do something proactive about it. So these are just some quotes from NAMI On Campus leaders from across the country about the difference that NAMI On Campus has made in their lives. So this past year, we've launched a whole bunch of new NAMI On Campus resources, and this is our new website and our new look. You can kind of see the different topics that we have on our site. Learn about the issue includes all the important stats and data about college mental health. Check out resources. We include resources for students, resources that they can print and download for free and share with other students or post around campus. And we also have a list of resources for school staff, faculty, and administrators that they can read and examine. Our NAMI survey on college students that I just talked about is also posted on the site, as well as the most current campus news for those that want to keep up on what's going on around the country. And of course, we have the Get Involved with Our NAMI On Campus Club program, and that provides additional resources on NAMI On Campus. And we also have Stay Connected options for how you can stay involved with NAMI On Campus and keep in touch on college mental health issues. And I did want to note that we have an exclusive NAMI On Campus Leaders Only web section. If you look here actually on the main NAMI On Campus web page, there's a link on the left sidebar that says NAMI On Campus Leaders Only. You do need a NAMI, a free online NAMI account to log into that section, and you have to be approved by us to access this. But this NAMI On Campus Leaders Only web section includes tons more resources for NAMI On Campus leaders. It includes a discussion board for leaders to interact with each other. It includes our NAMI On Campus startup packet and everything they need to get their club started. It also includes promotional materials, whether they're promoting their club for the first time and they want people to come to an informational session, or promotional materials to promote an event and other various activities. We also have ideas on how to sustain your club, what club activities you can do. We get a lot of requests for videos, so we have a section on here on mental health videos that college students can use in their efforts. And we also have resources for NAMI state organizations and NAMI affiliates. who want to support NAMI On Campus clubs and who want to help promote the program. And really, there's lots more resources. This barely captures it. It's all on here, and we are going to be continuing to develop resources. So with that, I'd love to poll you all on what you think would be the most useful for student leaders on your campus. What kind of materials would help them the most? Okay. So it seems like it's getting actually quite divided. Luckily, we do have a discussion board. We do have some sample promotional materials and resources. But we would love to do more on more information on successful NAMI On Campus clubs. I think that would be great. It seems like a lot of you agree that would be the most helpful. We do have a NAMI On Campus e-group that allows us to promote what NAMI On Campus clubs are doing across the country, and we highlight clubs in those emails, but I definitely think we can do more and post more on the website. So it's great to see, to get that feedback on what you think would be most helpful for students. So thank you. Obviously our clubs are student-led, so they must start with students. Students must lead the effort in starting clubs, in running clubs, in sustaining clubs. But there's still a lot that NAMI state organizations and NAMI affiliates can do, as well as school staff, faculty, and administrators on supporting NAMI On Campus clubs and helping getting the ball rolling. So we do have information on our website on how to promote NAMI On Campus to a school you want to target or to a school you work at. This includes ideas on how to recruit students to lead NAMI On Campus clubs. We also have a NAMI On Campus promotional brochure that helps make the case for NAMI On Campus, as well as our college student speak survey report that I mentioned. That really helps provide the data and the numbers for why NAMI On Campus is important. And we have other promotional materials that faculty, administrators, school staff, NAMI leaders, whether they're NAMI state organization leaders or NAMI affiliate leaders, their materials they can use to get students involved in NAMI On Campus, to get a school sold on supporting NAMI On Campus clubs. So there's a lot you can do, even if you are not a student, to get NAMI On Campus clubs implemented at your local school and to get students on board. The promotional brochure is available on our public site. Anyone can access it, as well as the survey report. Some of the other promotional materials you will need to get a free NAMI account to access. But you can always email me with any questions or with any resources you need about the program. So with that, what other types of promotional materials do you think would be most useful to you or really your student leaders? We'd love to know what kind of promotional items are needed. All right, great. So it seems most of you answered social media content. I couldn't agree more. Students are online, especially on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. Definitely great to have some information that they can use. We do provide guidance on web development and logo development for social media sites, and we provide sample Facebook NAMI On Campus club sites, but I think there's a lot more we can do. And I do want to note, actually, kind of as a side comment, we do have a social media campaign going on right now for college students. It's called the Think Positive campaign, and it's really meant to inspire and encourage young adults impacted by mental health issues to think positive, stay strong, especially during the difficult times. And so the social media campaign is really helping to promote young adults to share positive content, whether it's just a strategy they use to stay positive, or a lot of students have been taking pictures of themselves holding a sign that says, dogs help me think positive, or cuddling makes me think positive. And so they hold these positive messages, and we're really hoping to kind of spread these positive thoughts. We've learned from our NAMI On Campus program and our other efforts with young adults that they really are in need of that positive messaging and hearing it from other people, because a lot of times they may be getting negative feedback, or they're only hearing about their symptoms and everything that's wrong, and they really, really need some of that positive encouragement. So I just wanted to share that social media campaign that's available to college students. We actually partner with GW on it, so GW students have been contributing a lot to this campaign, and it's on Facebook if you want to check it out. So I did want to just briefly go through the process for starting a NAMI on Campus club. There's really 3 steps that students need to complete with the help of NAMI state organizations and NAMI affiliates. What every student must do, no matter what, is fill out an online NAMI on Campus interest form, and there is a link to this form in this PowerPoint presentation. If you come into contact with a student who's interested in starting a NAMI on Campus club, please direct them to this form. It's really important that they complete it just because it notifies us of their interest and it helps prevent any duplicative efforts. And it also connects them with the resources we have available. Students must also get recognized as a club by their campus. Schools have a separate process on how to get recognized as a student club on campus, so they must go through that, and we provide resources to help them through that process. And then they must get endorsed by their local NAMI affiliate and their NAMI state organization. This helps to make sure that there's that local connection and that they're connected to NAMI and they're aware of the services and supports that exist in their community, and then they get approved by us at the NAMI national office. And all through this process, we're providing technical assistance, resources, and materials. We're really here to help students achieve their goals and start these clubs. Just a note on the endorsement process. This is really designed to ensure students are connected and linked with their NAMI affiliate and NAMI state organization. It does require signatures from both. And we really just want to make sure NAMI state organizations and NAMI affiliates are aware of the clubs that exist in their state and are aware of opportunities they can do to collaborate with students who are leaders of these clubs and how they can work with these students and support these students. But most of all, just how they can benefit from each other and really create a wonderful collaborative relationship. We've seen some great stuff happen when a NAMI affiliate connects with a NAMI on Campus club. They partner on programs, on activities, and it really just helps both of them and their efforts. So I kind of went into this. What does endorsement mean? It really just means that, the NAMI affiliate and NAMI state organization has reviewed the materials of the NAMI on Campus club. They're aware that the club exists, they support the creation of it, and they welcome the student to the NAMI family. And of course, collaboration can occur between NAMI on Campus clubs, and I do have a list of some of that here. So there's lots of activities clubs can do. We have a comprehensive ideas booklet for NAMI on Campus leaders that includes quite a few ideas on what clubs can do, but also on how they can partner with their NAMI affiliate and NAMI state organization. A lot of them bring in NAMI signature programs to students. Holly mentioned some of those programs, like In Our Own Voice, and also peer-to-peer and NAMI Connection are 2 support groups that we have available. And a lot of students get trained in these programs and then bring these programs to their own campus. They can also, a lot of them do movie screenings together on, and then kind of have a discussion afterwards about the mental health topics that are in the movie. Of course, they also bring in speakers and panelists to talk about mental health issues. NAMI Walks on Campus is a huge collaborative effort that NAMI on Campus clubs do with their NAMI affiliate. And of course, just general promotion of mental health. A lot of them do very creative and innovative mental health awareness activities, especially in conjunction with Mental Illness Awareness Week. So they do lots of great activities. Again, we have an ideas booklet that outlines a lot of these activities, and we hope to provide some toolkits on different activities that clubs can do. So that's a resource we will be developing in the future. We get asked a lot how NAMI on Campus is unique from other mental health clubs. So I did want to just mention that here. Of course, one big difference is that NAMI on Campus clubs are part of the largest grassroots mental health organization in America. It's not just a college program. It's part of a much bigger cause, a much bigger movement, and a much bigger effort. So NAMI on Campus leaders get to stay connected with NAMI even after they graduate. They get to be involved student leaders, and then they get to be involved at NAMI. Obviously, I'm one example of a student that started NAMI on Campus Club and then came to the NAMI National Office. We have learned at NAMI through research that a lot of young adults really pick their lifetime causes when they're in that college age range. So by the time you're in your 20s, you've picked the organizations you're probably going to support your whole life, whether it's as a volunteer, as a donor, or as a staff member. We also, our NAMI on Campus leaders have exclusive access to all those resources I mentioned, and also opportunities to connect online and in person with each other. NAMI provides lots of events and conferences that NAMI on Campus leaders will have access to. And of course, our NAMI state organizations and NAMI affiliates across the country and in every state and most local communities are able to provide our clubs with local support, local programs and services to help. One of the biggest things that students enjoy as being part of NAMI on Campus is that they have access to programs. A lot of clubs don't have those widespread programs like NAMI does. Like I said, we have In Our Own Voice, peer-to-peer, NAMI Connection, various support groups that students can take and bring to their campus. And again, really, I think what's most important is NAMI is a lifelong organization that focuses on people of all ages. So these students' involvement can extend past their college years, and they can benefit from NAMI their whole life. So looking ahead, there's a lot more we hope to do with the NAMI on Campus program. We do have a workshop at our 2013 NAMI convention in San Antonio, Texas this year. We're really excited for that workshop. It'll be going into more detail about the NAMI on Campus program and what other clubs do across the country. We'll be developing videos on college mental health issues and also videos that share the personal stories of college students. And we'll also have training opportunities for NAMI on Campus leaders so they can build their leadership skills and career skills. And of course, we'll be aiming to continue our growth and expansion of our clubs. We're really in a rapid growth stage right now, and we hope to maintain that and continue starting hundreds of clubs every year and helping to sustain those clubs as well. So next steps, now that you know about this information, I definitely encourage you all to check out the NAMI on Campus website. It's nami.org/NAMI on Campus. Definitely work with your schools to locate students that would be interested in starting a club. You can definitely download and use all of our promotional materials that are available. You can email me. My email address is on there to get access to the NAMI on Campus Leaders Only web section and to get access to additional promotional materials, as well as the NAMI on Campus Starter Packet if you want more information on that process. We also have a NAMI on Campus e-group. This includes NAMI on Campus student leaders, but also anyone that's interested in NAMI on Campus and getting involved. So again, email me if you're interested in getting part of that e-group. And also just let us know what you need, whether you let Holly or I know. Just stay in contact with us. Let us know what resources you need developed, what materials you need, and what students are telling you they need to either start a club or raise mental health awareness or really combat that stigma that has been identified as a barrier. So just another poll question is if you are interested in starting a NAMI on Campus club after hearing about it, which I hope you are, what additional supports can we offer you to start a NAMI on Campus club that you haven't heard during this presentation? All right, so it looks like regular webinars on different NAMI on Campus leadership topics and email with NAMI on Campus flyers and materials. I think that's a great idea to do more webinars. We definitely hope to do that. Currently on our site is a recorded webinar that we did for NAMI state organizations and NAMI affiliates. So I definitely encourage you to check that out. Again, you'll have to email me to get access to it, or I can email it out to everyone that participated in this webinar. But that's great. It's good to know what we can do to support your efforts. So here's just the links to everything I talked about today, the main NAMI on Campus website. Again, to get access to that NAMI on Campus Leaders Only section, please email me. I'm happy to grant you access. This is the NAMI on Campus interest form as well. It's through SurveyMonkey, and that is the form that everyone must fill out if they're interested in starting a club. And we also have some blogs on NAMI on Campus. These share some personal stories on why students got involved with NAMI on Campus and the difference it's made in their lives. And it also just captures some of the information I talked about today. So definitely check out those stories if you're interested in learning more. And with that, I am handing it over to Amanda Lipp, who will actually be sharing her personal story.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for being on the call. Thank you so much to Holly and Dana for discussing the NAMI programs in such depth and clarity. The programs in the NAMI On Campus Club just sound amazing. I am currently developing a club plan of action at UC Davis right now, which I hope to get implemented as soon as possible. So what I'll be discussing with you folks today is sort of just my journey and how I came to be where I am now. I am 21 years old, a student at UC Davis in my 4th year here, so graduating very soon now. I'll be staying an extra year, though, so I'm not going anywhere soon. But I'll just be kind of discussing with you what led me here in my personal journey with mental health. So without further ado, what first led me to NAMI was definitely a result of a very turbulent mental health crisis a year prior. This was my freshman year of college when I first experienced my mental health crisis. And this crisis was the culmination of a lifetime of struggling and attempting to understand my emotions and all the new emotions that come with different changes and transitions in life. So throughout adolescence, I attended multiple schools in an attempt to really find the right social atmosphere and staff to support the needs that I had, the emotional demand that I brought. And I don't mean demands in that I was a troublemaker or got bad grades, but rather I needed much more emotional support and educational accommodations to enhance my education and potential to learn. And when these accommodations weren't met or didn't reach the standards that I felt were necessary, I would internalize the emotions and the helplessness that I already felt, which further perpetuated just the sensitivity and the predisposition that I had for mental health issues at the time. And some of the schools I attended did not provide the outstanding education and state-of-the-art activities that I really needed, while others were absolutely phenomenal. And the programs and activities that supplemented the education really was just a whole package, and it really allowed me to really love my education and get involved with my school when I felt that I had the emotional and psychological support from my teachers and my peers and felt accepted and not isolated. So I flourished at schools like this that really had the hands-on activities and the guidance that I needed. And then going into middle school was a fairly smooth patch for me as I continued to mature and accumulate coping tools to meet the emotional demands that I often encountered. And it wasn't until about 8th grade when I first experienced a true depressive episode. And the onset of this episode was triggered by a sports knee injury that took me out of sports for about a year. And sports always proves to be a very cathartic and releasing activity, and it was extremely therapeutic for me. And when I got injured and when sports were taken away from me, it really triggered that first episode, that depressive episode that it was so foreign to me, and I had no idea how to cope or deal with such a foreign emotion at such a young and critical developmental period. So now during this tumultuous period, school became a chore, schoolwork became daunting, and my relationships really began to falter with my family and my friends. I just simply didn't understand what this foreign feeling was and why I would continue to isolate myself and continue that feeling of numbness in my attempt to discover what this emotion really was. And really the scariest part of being depressed was just acknowledging that it was depression and I did have a problem and I needed help. And being able to finally acknowledge that this feeling, whatever it was not bigger than me, and I could, in fact, control it, was something that I really needed to believe in order to achieve that recovery. So I got involved. I started educating myself, and I stayed as active as I could with the physical limitations that my injury provided. And I really just tried to disperse my eggs, right, to not keep all my eggs in one basket and to really try to reach out and learn from others how I can then teach myself. And then continuing on to high school was a smooth transition, actually, because I finally was relieved to know that I would not only attend the same school for 4 consecutive years, but I was able to play sports again, and I had the support of an older sibling attending there as well. So I had a lot of really great just social support there in another big transition developmentally. And I remember the social pressures and finding the right niche and the right clique to be very overwhelming just in and of itself for any high schooler for that matter. And, but I did go into high school with this predisposition of depression and having that sensitivity already be exposed. And I began to realize that although my depression was not as bad as before, it did continue to persist and uproot on a weekly basis, which was interesting to me. To my peers, teachers, teammates, I appeared to be fairly asymptomatic, or at least I didn't allow my internal symptoms to be perceivable by the naked eye, out of feeling of, the stigma, the guilt, and the shame that the illness comes with. And so out of feeling this sort of helpless, trapped door, I thought, well, I'll start seeing my psychiatrist again and try to figure out why it is that I am still depressed while I am now able to play sports and have all these great friends. Why is this thought continuing, and why do I keep feeling these depressive symptoms? I had to keep asking myself that on a daily basis. And so my psychiatrist ended up diagnosing me with clinical depression, and I was put on antidepressant medication at that time. I was about a sophomore in high school now when I began taking medication. And while the medication was helpful in reducing my depressive symptoms, I began to notice a shift in the way I would externalize all of the pent-up sadness and anger I truly felt. And, I've always had a relatively hyperactive and theatrical personality, but the antidepressants, while diminishing the depressive symptoms, they did act upon other traits in my mental health continuum. And by that I mean my depressive symptoms were alleviated, but these other manic, hypomanic symptoms that I had started to sort of show themselves more as my depressive symptoms lessened. Now the manic features were beginning to sort of feel more comfortable coming out and expressing themselves. Because in my eyes and in my peers' eyes, so long as Amanda was happy and energetic and outgoing, she wasn't depressed. So I continued to feed the hypomanic and the hyperactive symptoms that came about because I'd rather feel those than feel depressed. And so while this feeling of not being depressed was ideal, it wasn't functional because I wasn't balanced. And knowing I had the capacity to feel that amount of happiness, that hypomanic feeling in such a short transition was a feeling that I craved and that I anticipated. And I didn't realize the repercussions of this new mental health twist that I was feeling. And while the depressive symptoms began to disappear, the more manic features began to take over. And then entering freshman year of college, I had now accumulated a large amount of emotional baggage and pressure. All of this sort of pent-up energy was being sort of repressed by this medication that I was taking because of the misdiagnosis. I really should have been diagnosed as having bipolar disorder. And so not only is college the most common time for adolescents to experience a mental health crisis, but also a time when they have the most opportunity for a crisis to occur. And with this unlimited freedom and the social aspect and the parties and the options, there also comes the ability for one's mind to meet these demands and these emotional demands that those activities come with. And I wasn't able to meet this demand. College was too overwhelming for me. It was too much too soon. And I had a lot of things that I really needed to deal with before I could really deal with anything else. And I really felt like I had no one to talk to, and no one understood how I felt. And my threshold was the highest, and I don't want to burden anyone else with this issue. It's contagious. It felt like a disease. I felt like I really couldn't talk about it. It was this taboo, and, first impressions are everything in college, right? And so I was really trying to not let my first impression be that I had a mental health issue. So at this point, the spellbound definitely began to occur into the largest state of psychosis I have ever had in my life during my freshman year of college that semester. And in a matter of 2 days, I managed to spend over $5,000 and go cold turkey off my antidepressants, and then continue to drop out of college on a medical leave of absence. And it was interesting because during this manic state, I did manage to drop out of college on a medical leave of absence without any question from the administrative staff or faculty that I proceeded to drop out with and do the paperwork with, because it was quite an arduous process to drop out of school and during this entire time, I was in a complete state of mania, which really just taught me that there are so many professionals and smart individuals out there, including myself, who just had no idea what was going on and didn't know the symptoms or where those might lead. And so this episode led me to my admission to a psychiatric institution for the next 3 months, or what would have been my second half of the year of college, whereby I was put on multiple medications in an attempt to really stabilize my state of psychosis. The hospital experience was one that I continue to deal with today. It was an experience that has negative memories attached to them. But what I learned from that experience was that it's a challenge that I had to overcome. And thankfully, I had been through a lot of transitions during my adolescent educational years that I was able to find the resiliency to overcome this area of hardship. And, the social side effects, the stigma, the discrimination is something that can be just as debilitating as the physical side effects of medication. And NAMI really gave me the tools and the power to then approach my community college and be able to use the accommodations that they had and the social support that their counselors offered. And once I felt strong and stable enough to acknowledge what was really going on with myself, I was able to finally understand that it really isn't that I'm not always being accepted by my peers and my community, but it's that I had to learn to accept myself and to love myself and perceive my illness as a gift and a blessing rather than a curse and a hardship, but rather a superpower, if you will, to really be able to capitalize on traits and use them in positive ways as opposed to negative ways. And as a result, I began getting really involved with NAMI and volunteering and utilizing their amazing programs and staff. And I just always felt the support. And now, more than ever, with this NAMI On Campus being such a great and huge experience for so many kids, I really feel that that will allow kids to then feel comfortable seeking out other opportunities and other resources and talking to their doctor more openly or their friends. And now nearing the end of my undergraduate experience, I look back and I'm really grateful for the experiences that I've had. And now I see the endless opportunity for reducing the stigma and educating more people on how complex and sensitive these issues really are. And that strength and that support is not acquired alone, but rather is built from the strong network of support and love from families, friends, teachers, colleagues, and these webinars, communities and organizations coming together and working together to bring awareness, education, and most of all, advocacy. And just knowing that the support is there is really half the battle. It's really just knowing that we have the tools to utilize. So that concludes my portion of my lived experience. If anyone has any questions about NAMI or my involvement with NAMI as a board member or just as a student at UC Davis or as a family member, please feel free to contact me or ask questions. Yes, thank you for listening. I appreciate the time, and I'll give it back to Holly or whoever's on next to facilitate.
Thank you, Amanda. We really appreciate you sharing your story with us. And with that, I'd just like to open the floor to any questions. If you want to ask Amanda or I or Dana, we'd be happy to help. So you can either unmute your phone by pressing *6 and ask us verbally, or you can type your questions into the chat box. Well, I don't want to have too much awkward silence as we're waiting for questions to pop up, but we do have our contact information on this slide. So if anything comes up after the presentation, please feel free to contact myself or Dana, or Beth is actually our program coordinator here at NAMI California, and we'd all be very happy to answer your questions or get you any information, materials on the programs. You also may have noticed that with the reminder email, you're also given PDFs of all of our program flyers, in addition to a copy of the PowerPoint.
Great. Thank you, Holly, and thank you all for taking the time to join us today on the webinar. And again, one last big thank you to Holly, Dana, and Amanda for presenting. As a resource for California community colleges, the Center for Applied Research Solutions offers no-cost training and technical assistance. So if any of you are interested in receiving assistance, please be sure to visit our website for more information and to complete an online application form. And I'll go ahead and I'll put that website in the chat box right now so you can see it. As you begin to log off and close out of the webinar session, there will be a short evaluation form that's going to pop up on your computer screen. If you can take a quick moment and just complete it for us, your feedback and your responses help us improve these sessions for the future. So again, thank you all for joining us. Big thank you to our presenters, and have a great afternoon. Thank you,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Thank you so much for participating. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.